Hey folks, welcome to the stream. It's Sunday afternoon, time for some development. So, without further ado, let's get on with this, shall we? Now, I was doing some investigation last night, and it seems to be clear that one of the major problems is, in fact, teleporters. Or at least it is the render targets and stuff like that. Having too many is basically murdering my frame rate. Now I'm going to leave them out for now. I don't need to actually use the render targets. We could do something else in the meantime. But what we'll do is carry on without them. So I think what we'll do is we shall work on our level complete. And come to think of it, we need to work on the logic of our level complete, because we haven't done that. We've got the targets to appear, right, but we haven't got the actual code to make it happen. Or do we? Actually, we do. Right, now in these ones, we are actually going to have to go in here and say portal, which is fine. So what we'll do is we'll select the 4 target points, and we'll say portal. Now the interesting thing here is going to be, right, so here we go. We're going to get 7.5 seconds to find this. And it should be right there. And it is. Right, so actually it's working perfectly. And let's do that again, right, because I want to see the lighting. And what I was going to say for you guys was, is there anything you want me to see here? And we've got our 1. Okay, so we need to do our lives left. Okay, so basically Did I have, I'm pretty sure I had that open. Yeah. Here we go. So we've got display score. And get text lives. And this one, we'll drag that up to there. Then we'll put that there. Move that to there. Right. So that is that. Now for the rating, we're going to have to calculate some scores. So we're going to have to do a little bit of data table retrieval and comparison. But we shall put something in. We shall put something in our pawn that's going to do that for us, okay? So we'll basically throw it to the pawn to give us something back. Okay, now that means that we're going to have a variable, and it's going to be controller. Now we can either pass this in and since we're not calling this from the pawn, we'll check it out where we're calling it from before we do anything, right? So this is going to be Pawn Chronicles. We could just do it on begin play and just get the player pawn and then cast it, which is, yeah, that's what we'll do. This is actually be on event construct. Except that's not it. Is this? No, it's display score. Okay. And that is an override, so we don't want to really do that. Okay. Whatever. I guess we'll just pass it in then, shall we? Right, so what we can do is find references, and then it won't find any in here, but if we hit the binoculars, it will search all the different things. So it is actually shown in our pawn, so that's fine. Right, so if we refresh the nodes, if we refresh the nodes here, self right, and then if we do a calculate rating, and we are going to pass in time taken. We'll do that as a float for now. Okay. And we'll be passing back a rating high score rating, and rating number, and that's going to be an integer. Okay, so if we come back to here, we can basically do this. Then do calculate rating. And then that is going to go in there. Now we can pretty much do this in any order, doesn't really matter. And this rating is a high score rating. So what we basically do is to string, and that gives us the friendly name. And then we can get our actual rating. And set text down at the bottom here. And while we're talking about it, the first ever, not the first, pretty much the first build of the game is now up for Patreon members at the correct level. So if you want to play the game in its, while I am building it, then support the game on Patreon, and you can do that. Okay, don't like to shill, but hey ho, man's got to eat. Right, we'll tidy this up as well. Now, we're going to use this rating number to possibly do a little fun thing, and we'll have like cloves of garlic, and it'll fill out the cloves of garlic like 1 to 5. or something, and we'll do some nice UI stuff with that to make it look good. Hi, Mr. Spock, how you doing? Right, so what we're working on at the moment is we are going to now do a rudimentary calculation of the score right. Now this should actually work, not that it's going to give us the correct score or anything, but it should give us some sort of a idea. Well, I can't say I'm having a great day, but I'm having an okay day. And we should now see the lighting changes here. Right, that the lights go brighter and not so bright and stuff like that. And I've run right past it. There it is. Right, so we go, lives left 3 and rating blood donor. Okay, I might actually delete that rating like description and just do my cloves of garlic or something. Right. Now, excuse me a minute. I have to pop to the toilet. I shall be right back. Okay, sorry about that short interruption. And we're back at it. Let me see what's going on here. Right. So what I want is when we go to our calculate rating, right, what we're going to do is we've got our time taken, okay, and we're going to say well, basically we're going to do a data table thing. So we may as well start with that. And we can get data table row. Right, and the reason we can do that is we can say level name. We can get current level name. Right, and that's going to go straight in there. And this is why it's a little good sneaky idea to have your levels as integers. Right, because then you can link them to data and stuff in your data table row. I suppose you could do it if you named your data table rows the actual level names as well. But it keeps things simple. Right, so we're going to go to there. We're going to get levels. Then we're going to make sure that we've got the right thing here. We've got time targets and we've got the rating scores. Right? So what we want to do here is we want a local variable. So we'll add a local variable and we'll say, hey Cassius, how you doing? Temp time target reached. Okay, and these are floats. Right, but we're not going to make that a float. We're going to make this an integer, right? I'll show you why in a minute. Basically, there's 5 time targets, okay? So the index of the time target tells us which one. I've never heard of it, sorry. So what we're going to do is we're going to for each, okay, and what we can actually do here is this can be actually be a for each. Can it be a for each with break? Yeah, it can. It just depends on the way I store the data. Right? And we can do that. What kind of a game is that, Cassius? So basically, if that is less than, we're going to branch, right? Either way, we're going to branch. So if that is true, so if that is less than that, then basically we break. Okay. We'll check the values on this in a minute, right? So don't worry, we'll be checking it just to make sure our logic makes sense. Well, if it works. And if it isn't, we set this. Right? And that goes basically in there. Yay, some bots. I love having to delete bots. Right. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to run down the list of times, and it's basically going to jump out the loop if you haven't beaten the time. Right? If you have beaten the time, then it's going to set this to that particular index. Right? Now, we're going to do more than this, but this is our first check on it. And we'll set them up for level 2, and we'll see if we can actually return the correct result. Okay? At least that's the plan. So what we want to do is the worst time first. Okay? And what we can do is go to our data, in here, right? And then our time targets are actually right, except they're not. Right? So we can do, let's say 60, 45, 30, 25, 20. Okay? And what we can do then is not close that down like an idiot. Is we can go back to our templatey thing, and what we'll actually put is that number, just for a laugh. Okay? So now when we do this, what I wanted to actually do here was put in a breakpoint. So we can bring this up. And if we actually go into here, we can check it here to make sure that we're getting a thing. Right, so basically if I run around here pretty quick, or at least I don't take a minute and a half about it, and there it's there. Oh no. Right. So that should say 2, which it does. Right, so we're picking up our data from here, and if we resume, our value is 0. Well, that's awesome. So let's see what we've got wrong. Right, that seems to be fine. Okay, have a good time, Cassius. Thanks for popping by. Always nice to see the same faces and say hello. Okay, so we've got our breakpoint. Our time taken is 22.55, right? And we're going to step over, and this should be basically 5 different numbers. Right, so if we step over, so that gave us nothing. So it looks to me as if this array is nothing. Right, so yeah, I'm an idiot. We haven't got time targets in level 2 because I did level 1 like a complete mug. Right, you guys should be spotting this. Right. Try that again, shall we? Right, there it's there. Right, there we go. Alright, welcome back, Mr. Spark. So now that we actually have some values, we should actually get some action here. Right, so step over. It should set it. Right, we're into this. We're into the standard macros. We're going to close that. Right, it should go in here again. That's kind of what I was expecting. And if we resume, our target is 3. Okay. Now, we were on 23 seconds, so that is actually right. Okay, if we look at the time targets, we're better than that, we're less than that, less than that, less than that, and we're less than that, but we're not less than that, right? So it's going to give us value number 3, okay, which is exactly what I would expect. Now, what we're actually going to do here is we're going to be a little bit sneaky. Right? We're going to resume it, and you'll notice it now gives us a rating of 3. Okay? Which is absolutely fine. But to the player, that should actually be a rating of 4. Okay, because there's players don't recognize 0 ratings. So what we're going to do is, if we go back to our Pawn Chronicles, when we complete and hit the return node, we are basically going to add 1. And that gives us a rating of 1 to 5. Okay? Plus it's more efficient because we only add it once. If I was to do it here, we'd be adding it every time. Which, okay, it's not going to exactly save us a heck of a lot of time. In fact, it's probably going to save us an infinitesimal amount of time, but it's still good programming practice. If we can do it more efficiently, then do it. Right, and we can basically disable all of these because we know that is now working. Right? And now the interesting thing is what I'm going to do is we're going to do like garlic cloves here, right? But we don't have garlic cloves at the moment, but that's okay because we'll work on it, right? We'll do something else first. We'll just do a bit of clip art that we've already got, and we'll get our we'll get it working. That's what I mean, right? And then when we get the right type of picture, we can put it in. But what I want is, right, let me explain what I want to do. What I want is like the garlic to appear in the center and then like trim down to the right size, and then do a thump when it hits it, and then it moves on and does the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. Right, so it doesn't just come up with a score straight away. It like does doom, 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 doom as each garlic clove gets put into the rating. Okay, so you don't know how well you're going to do, you've just got to wait and find out. Right? That's kind of the idea here. Right? Okay, childish, I know, but it's a game and a bit of fun. Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take out our text rating. In fact, let's not take that out yet. What we'll do is we'll add a panel, and we'll add a grid panel here. Right? Now this grid panel, we're going to call it GP underscore, would you believe, rating. I bet you're surprised by that. right? And we can do a couple of things here, right? We can do this a couple of sneaky ways. Gonna have to try this a couple of ways to see how it's going to work, right? But I think we're going to have to create a separate widget for this, right? So we can basically say, now this might not end up garlic, so I'm not going to call it garlic, right? It might end up as something else like a pair of vampire teeth or whatever it is, right? But the point being that it's going to be an image. So this is going to be W rating, and to make it descriptive we shall call it individual. So it's an individual rating widget, okay? So this grid is going to be made up of a number of these individual widgets, right? So we can test that pretty much straight away, right? If we just add an image, right? And then we basically just set this image to something, right? So let's go to our icons, right? And let's see, I know that there's fruit and veg and stuff in this, but it's like food, traffic, weather, tool, store. Okay, this is more like, how's that a store? Okay, I suppose it's a, if it was like a RPG store, I suppose. Shopping. I'm pretty sure these aren't like for different items either. It's more like, yeah, nature. Didn't think so. And nearly. Game, gesture, media, food. If anybody wants to make me one with garlic, probably wouldn't know garlic if it punched me in the face anyway. Apparently we don't have garlic, which is no big surprise, but hey ho. Are vampires afraid of cheese or pizza? Anybody know? Anybody a vampire? What about gingerbread men? Right, we'll just pick a gingerbread man, because we know it's going to change anyway. So, sod it, basically. And we'll change 54, 64. We'll save that. Right. And then we are in back to here. We're going to go to the graph, and we need a call count on this one. Don't need a row count, because we're obviously not going to use a row. We're only going to use the one column. Yeah, they're afraid of light and crosses and garlic. I suppose we could do a cross, eh? I have got crosses. Yeah, let's do crosses. Let's make it at least a little bit kinda interesting. and actually related to the subject. I'm pretty sure there's like a kind of religious cross in this somewhere, because I do use it for something else, right? But I don't know under which I don't think it's going to be in here somehow, because it's not an arrow. Ugh. Right. Ah, here we go. I like this one. Right. So we'll go with that. Right, and I suppose we're going to size to content. Right, so we'll do that, right? Okay. You know, it's always the more fun part to actually think an idea and then actually do it from nothing. It kind of, and then it kind of loses its luster when you realise, yeah, that's not exactly very hard. Right? Anyway, back to this, I suppose. So we're not going to, nah, we could still do that, but we're going to do something else first. Right? We're going to do a for loop, and it's going to go from 1 to the rating number, right? And then this part's going to go down here, and that's going to be on the complete. And then here we're going to create widget individual. So we pick our rating individual, right? And then we get our GP rating. In fact, we don't need a call count at all. We can use the index. And it now basically means that we really actually don't want to do the minus plus 1. Right, but anyway, we'll fix that in a minute. So we're going to do add child to grid. And then this is actually, because we've added one, we're going to have to take one off because we want it to start at 0. So I kind of defeated the purpose of our earlier thing. And this is going to go into the column. Okay. And that is it. Apart from plugging in the content. Right? Or let's put it this way, that's the first part. And there we go. Okay, there's the 4 crosses. And our number 4 on the end. Now, what we could actually do with these is we can make them red. Because we kind of do that. Okay. Right, so what do you guys think I should do with this next? How do you think this should be tarted up? There we go. Okay. Now, what we could do here is we could do it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or we could leave it as it is, right? Now, I'm going to take a moment's break. I'm going to grab a cigarette. If there's anything you want to see or something you want me to do with those crosses, muck around with it or whatever, let me know in the comments. I'll be right back. If you're enjoying the stream, hit like, subscribe, and check out the description for links to Discord, Patreon, and my previous game on Steam. I'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we're back. Mr. Spock. No, you're not understanding here, Mr. Spock. I'm afraid these are widgets, and therefore okay, let me answer Mr. Spock first, and then I'll come to you, Aidan. Okay, the crosses here are on the HUD, so they're not 3D, right? So yes, we could add a material to them and make it a user interface material, but for the most part, this is just an image. Okay, now we'd have to do render targets and stuff like that if we actually wanted to draw a cross. It's doable, put it that way, it's doable, and I know how to do it, but probably if I was to do it, I would have to do it on another level. I'd have to have like a score level, right? And then I'd have to transport the player to that level to get their score. Now that's not going to take long, right? But then I could have, well, let me explain, right? I'll be with you in a second, Aidan. Right, so basically, right, so when we finish the level, wow, I've got 5 stars, 5 crosses. Right, these are just, what I'd have to do is change this into a level, okay? A bit like the main menu level, with like a separate camera in it and a separate controller. Not that the controller would need to do much, but, so, if I was to do that, which I could, and I might, don't know yet, is, number 1, I would have to create a controller. Number 2, I'd have to create a level. Number 3, I would then have to create a struct within the game instance that stored what level you were on, your score, your times, basically all the stuff to calculate all this, right? And that would have to go in the game instance, right? Which, again, not a problem. I do understand all the things that I would have to do in this particular case, right? Now, then you could do a bit of cheating, right? That you could basically stick the camera in a very specific place, right? So that these crosses were all actually already in the level, but hidden, right? And then going by the rating, you would just set each one not to be hidden, right? So you would be setting the camera at a specific distance away from the crosses, and you'd have the crosses in a particular position, right? Or what you could do is you could basically have, in the way that, I don't know if any of you guys do this, but here's how it's done, right? Do you know how in, like, let's say when you go to let's say you pick up an item, right? And, for example, Uncharted, right? And then you can look at the item and then manipulate it in 3D, right? Even though it's on an interface, right? Well, basically what you do is you set up a render target underneath the level, or above the level, or just out of camera, right? Much like the minimap, right? And then you just place that item in front of it, and then just get it to rotate around or whatever you want to do. And then basically you beam that back and then put it on your HUD, right? And it looks like the item's there, but it's not. All you're seeing is like a view of it from a camera, right? It's like projecting it onto your HUD, right? But you're not actually looking at the item through the camera. The camera is taking that texture, putting it onto a material, and then you just show the material as part of your HUD. Okay? What language are you using? I'm using Blueprints at the moment. Alt Chezers. Right, Aiden. You don't have enough space. Enough space, what, on your hard drive? On your... I don't understand. You don't have enough memory space, you don't have enough hard drive space, you don't... I don't know. If it's hard drive space, then yeah, you can delete some crap off it. But you'll need to be a bit more specific. Right, so we'll add an effect here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my level complete, right? And then I'm going to add a delay of, let's say, 2 seconds, and we'll just throw it in here for now, right? And next I'm going to say play sound, and we're going to play sound 2D because it's a HUD sound, okay? HUD sounds just play basically in the center, like there's no distance to your distance to it basically. And I have my very own thump, okay? What language am I using? I'm using Blueprints. It's a visual language for Unreal Engine, okay? I do a little C++ now and again, even though I don't know, it's probably my weakest language in the world. I have never used it up until this point, and I'm not too familiar with it, so... And basically, I've been programming for God knows how long, and I just wanted to do it with nice, pretty pictures. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my desktop sound so that you guys can hear this. Let me know if you do hear it or not. I'm going to have to turn my sound down, or you're going to get echoes of it coming out of my speakers and the actual desktop. Well, that didn't work. Now, I'm kind of not surprised at that. Right? I'm kind of not surprised. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a sneaky right? We're going to set up a custom. Right. Here, I'm going to do something here that's completely bonkers, okay? And this just shows how my strange mind works, right? Now, you can't really do time things in widgets, although I thought that should have worked, right? So the first thing I thought of was, I'm going to do, wait for it, I'm going to do a custom event, right? And I'm going to say create cross, right? And then what we're going to do, just to be super sneaky, is I'm going to add an index, right? And it's going to be an integer. Now, if this works, it would be kind of cool. Right, and then off of here, I'm going to say create cross. Except I'm probably going to have to, no I'm not, no I'm not. Right, I'm going to break that, and I'm going to plug that in there. Right, now let's see if that works. Oh, wait a minute. We're actually not going to do that. Right? What we're going to do, yeah, in fact, let's do that. I'm going to try something else, right? Let's see what we can actually get working here. I'm going to do that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the delay here. This wasn't actually my idea for this. There was a slight change here, right? But we'll try it anyway. And we shall see how it goes. Oh, it doesn't like that. It did not like that at all. And the question is, how badly have we crashed? How much have we lost? Guesses in the chat, guys. How much have I lost? Have I lost the last hour, or have I lost pretty much nothing? Well, we'll find out in a minute. We have lost everything. Excellent. Well, that's awesome. We've lost calculate rating. Have we lost what's on the pawn? We do have the controller there. Oh, disaster strikes. Okay guys, we're going to try and bring this back. Okay, so if you have a crash like this, right, then what to do is we're going to go to the right place, okay, and then we go to our saved, then we go to auto saves, then we go to game, and there was 3 things that got blown away there, right? And that was, there was code in the pawn, right? And there was code in the level score, and then there was the actual blueprint for the individual thing. Right? So it's this level complete. It's got code there, right? But our problem, well, it's not a big problem because all it is an image, right? But if we look at the dates on this, this is the last one, right? Now, what we can do is, this ain't even going to matter because we've already got the code. It's the fact that we don't have the pawn information that is the problem, right? So it's actually going to be in here, right? So do we have it at this one here, right? So we're not actually going to, we're going to copy this, right? And then we're going to put it into our content, into blueprints. In fact, not into blueprints. We're going to put it in first person BP, so it's next to this. So it's next to this one, right? This one here. So it's underscore auto3. So what we're going to do is just copy the code from this one into this one, then delete this one. Okay. And we're going to have to create our individual rating widget again. Okay. Not too huge a deal, just a bit of a pain in the neck, right? So what we'll do is we'll create this one first, right? So this is W underscore rating individual. Open that up, and then all we need to do is add our image back in, right? And then basically pick out our flat thingamid doofer again, right? And it was under icon common, I believe, and it was quite near the bottom as well. So it's here. Put that in there, change that was originally, we did that 64 by 64, we'll muck about with that later, and we did make it red, so basically that's 0 and that's 0, and we're good with that. Can save that. We'll minimize that for the moment. Then if we go into our first person blueprint and then go into blueprints, that's not good. That's not good. We should be able to tell which one is which though. Because one of them hasn't got, one of them has got the calculate rating, right? So this one is the imposter. So if we copy that, right, and then we'll rename this as auto, then we go in here and we add the function now. What was it called again? Right, calculate rating, and actually we just want to copy that stuff. Right, so this is going to be calculate rating. Then we're going to paste this, and we probably need temp time target reached. Okay, so we'll undo that. And we'll undo that. And we need the local variable temp time target reached, and that's going to be an integer. And now we can paste this in. And that's that. And now, before I delete that, I'm going to wait until we've done this. Oh, apparently we need a time taken. Okay. so we need an input. That's weird. No, it's not. I thought that was weird there, but it's because it's an input and I actually had to make the function in the first place. So that's that. Then that goes to there. That's done. Okay, our level complete has changed. Right, so we're going to do a save all. And we're going to close this down again, because you're not supposed to have it open when you're doing this, I don't think. Did that open the File Explorer there? Right, so if we go back to our saved, auto saves, game, HUD, widgets, in-game, and it's this level complete that we want, and this one, but this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this to back. Okay, and then we're going to copy this, and then we're going to go Chronicles, content, HUD, widgets, in-game, and then paste it in here. Right, and then we're going to open this again. So if you ever end up in trouble with Unreal Engine closing down on you like that, then there's how you can get some of the stuff. This is how you can get some of the stuff back. Right, so you'll notice now we have 2 level completes, and these should have been renamed. Right, but we're going to have to find out which is the correct one and which is the old one. Right, so it appears that the second one is the one that crashed. Yeah, because this is the one. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is the one that's right. Right, apparently one of these is the imposter. This is the one that wasn't working. So we're going to delete this one. Right, this is the one that basically lost its references that we want to actually now just refresh. So this is now going to be calculate rating. Okay. And I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll stick our delay here. Now, if we need to, we can move some of this code into the player controller so that it will do this stuff properly. Yeah, okay. So this is level complete. And we do self. And display score. Right, okay. So it looks like that crash has lost us about 20 minutes or so. Which is never good, but hey, what can you do? So save that, close that, run that. Right, that's not what we want to do. We want to go to our maps. And we want to go to level 2. Oh, what's it doing out there? Okay, that's fine. I know why it did that. That's because, if you all remember correctly, I changed all the targets to Portal. Right? So we need to do target position. We need to select them all. And then we come down to actor and we add a portal. Then we save that and we run it again. And there we go. Right, but it's obviously not doing the delay. Right? And the other thing is, of course, we've lost the sound. Play. And this should be thump. Right, so that's that all done. We just need a delay in here. Now, as I said, we could do it in our player controller. Or we could find a workaround. Right. Okay, we'll try this delay again. But I'm pretty sure that delays don't, time things don't work in, although I'm pretty sure I could call myself a liar on that one, because I'm pretty sure I've got a delay somewhere else. Anyway, I mean, there is a way we could do this, right? But it's just a lot of flapping about. Right, we'll try this, and if it doesn't work, we'll do the flapping about idea. Yeah, it didn't work. Right. So we'll rename this to something else, right? We'll say rating count. Okay. Right, so how will we do this? Right. I mean, in theory, we could move this part of the... We could move this part to the pawn. Or at least this part here. Interesting. Or we could just not bother. For now. Right, I think guys I'm going to leave it there. It seems like a good place. I shall have a think about how I'm going to do this, and we shall look at it tonight at 8 PM when I'll be back to stream. So if you've enjoyed the stream and the content, hit like and subscribe. Check out the description for Discord, you're welcome there, and ways to support the channel. Get your name in the game, check out early builds, you can join the Patreon, and finally my previous game on Steam, even just adding it to your wish list. Link is in the description as well. So thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.